Hello, students. Today I'm going to explain the chapter The Selfish Giant by Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde was born on 16th October 1854 and died on 30th November 1900. Means he was 19th century writer and he belonged to Ireland, so he was an Irish poet and playwright. He was known for mixing both fantasy and realism into his works. Into his works, we can find fantasy, imagination, and realism as well. He was a perfect example to use the imagery. So he was perfect in the use of imagery. He was aware of the reality of human nature. He had got deep knowledge of human nature. He knows of the reality of human nature and the darkness that resides in everyone's soul. And he knew the weaknesses of human beings, the darkness that lives in every human being, in every soul. So let us know the theme of the present chapter. The theme of the chapter is innocence of children. The whole story is centered around children. Children, we know, are near to God. The other theme of the chapter is selfishness. And we know that one who is selfish can never flourish. Selfishness brings only unhappiness to anyone. And the other one is sharing and caring, and we all know these two qualities are really good. These two qualities are basis of happy life, happy living. Charity and kindness shown here because we know that charity means unselfish kind of love, so that is called charity. Now let us know the summary or the key points of the chapter of the story, and we know that the story has got two parts. So first we will know the key points of part first. The story begins in a garden that belongs to a giant. The garden was of a giant, and in that garden children would play there and enjoy the natural beauty in that garden. Why? Because the giant was not there in the garden. The giant comes back to his garden after 7 years, and for 7 years, children used that garden and sent the children away. As soon as the giant comes, he sends all those children away. Being selfish, he was selfish. He was a person who only thought of himself. He builds a high wall round the garden, so that no child would enter. The result of his selfishness is the trees stopped blooming and fruiting. There was no fruit, there was no blossom there in the trees, while the birds stopped singing. Birds also stopped coming there, they stop singing. Spring comes in the whole country except the giant's garden. Spring was there in the whole country, but the giant's garden was without spring. There was no spring. So there was only winter when there was no spring. Winter comes to stay, and winter stays there in the garden of the giant because he was selfish. And being selfish, nature does not respond to one and invites its friends snow, frost, north wind, and hail. So winter invites its friend, and which are the friends of winter? These are snow, frost, north wind. North wind is also chilly wind, and hail, hailstorm. So these things are there only in the garden. It is a cold, windy, and bleak experience in the giant's garden. It was not a good experience because every time there was cold, no flower, no fruit was there, no chirping of the bird. So it was really a bleak scene after he had made the wall round that garden. But one morning everything changes. But we will see in the first part or later half of the first part that the scenario changes. In the second part, we see that one day the children enter, making a hole in the wall. Children enters because the scenario of the garden changes, and the scenario changes because of the entry of children. To celebrate the return of children, because now children are there, spring comes, winter goes off. And when spring comes, trees cover themselves with birds, and blossoms were there, fruits were there. Giant approaches. Giant was really happy seeing all those boys there playing and spring there in the garden of the giant. He was happy. He comes, and there was a boy who tries to reach there to the branch of a tree, but he cannot reach there. So the giant approaches the boy quietly because the other boys went away seeing the giant. From behind the giant comes and he puts that little boy in the tree onto a branch. At once the tree blossoms. As soon as the child was there on the tree, it blossoms. Flowers are there on the tree. All over, birds also started singing on the tree. The giant is delighted. He is happy to see his friends back, to see that all the boys are back and now the birds are also there. Nature is responding. That's why he is very happy. The little boy whom the giant loves, whom he makes sit there on the branch, he loves that boy a lot. But after that day, the boy does not come in that garden. Years pass, time passes, the giant grows old. One day, the little boy comes, the same boy that the giant loves a lot, he comes. The giant was very happy. He runs to meet that boy. Now we come to know, at the end of this second part, we come to know that the boy, he was not a human being, he was in fact an angel. And he has come to take the giant to the paradise. Why? Because now the giant is no more selfish. He loves all those boys. He wants everyone being there in his garden. So he changes altogether. That's why now the place of the giant is in the paradise. So, being an angel, the boy comes there to take the giant to the paradise, to the heaven. Next day, children, because children always come there in the morning into that garden. So, next day, when children come, they see that giant is lying dead, and the giant is covered with white flowers, and the body is lying near the tree. Now, let us read the chapter. Every afternoon, as they were coming from school, they referred to children. The children used to go and play in the giant's garden. So, after attending the school, the children would go to giant's garden. They would enjoy the beauty of nature in the garden. It was a large, lovely garden with soft green grass was there. Here and there over the grass stood beautiful flowers were also there like stars. And there were 12 peach trees were also there that in the springtime, that in the time of spring broke out into delicate blossoms. So delicate, soft flowers are seen there in the springtime of the pink and pearl. And the flowers, the soft flowers were of pink and like pearl. And in the autumn, bore rich fruit, and in the autumn all those 12 peach trees were filled with fruits. The birds sat on the trees and sang. The birds also sang their sweet music that the children used to stop their games in order to listen to them. The children would stop playing because they were attracted towards the music of those birds, chirping of those. How happy we are, they cried to each other. They were really happy. They said to each other that it was really good for all those children to enjoy there, to come there to that park, and the beauty of nature also responded them. One day the giant came back. He had been to visit his friend the Cornish ogre and had stayed with him for 7 years. When he arrived, he saw the children playing in the garden. So the owner of the garden came. He was the giant, and he had been away for 7 years, and he was there with his friend Cornish ogre. Cornish ogre, a cruel giant who eats people. And when he saw those children playing in the garden, he did not like that. What are you doing here? He cried in a very gruff, rough, and surly voice, and the children ran away. He terrified those children, and the children ran away after he called those children, he rebuked those children. My own garden is my own garden. That is called selfishness, said the giant. Anyone can understand that, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself, except myself. So he said that his thing belonged to him only, and he is not going to share it. So he built a high wall all round it and put up, and he established a notice board there onto the wall, and the notice was, trespassers will be prosecuted. Trespassers, those who enter illegally, prosecuted, tried in a court or law. He was a very selfish giant. He was a selfish giant, that's why he built a huge wall round his garden and did not let those children enter. And now the change will happen to him. Now he will experience the result of being selfish. The poor children had now nowhere to play. They tried to play on the road, and now the children did not have the garden to use to play. That's why they had to play on road, but the road was very dusty. The road was full of hard stones, and they did not like it. They did not like playing on the road because the garden was really good. They used to wander round the high walls when their lessons were over. So it was their habit to come there to the garden after schooling, after the lessons were over, and every day they would do the same thing after the wall was built and talk about the beautiful garden inside. And now they could not enter the garden. That's why they only talk about the garden, how happy we were. Those were happy days for those children, they said to each other. Then the spring came, and all over the country there were little blossoms and little birds. Then it was spring season, and the country was experiencing spring. Blossoms were there, fruits were there, flowers were there. Only in the garden of selfish giant it was still winter, but the spring did not come to the garden of that giant. The birds did not care to sing. Birds did not come there. They did not sing in it as there were no children, because there were no children, and children are really near to God. And the trees forgot to blossom. There was no flower there on the trees as well. Once a beautiful flower put its head out from the grass. Once it happened that a flower from the petal of a grass, was going to come up, but when it noticed that no one was there, and so the notice board there, it was so sorry. The flower was so sorry for the children that it slipped back. The flower that was going to bloom, but it again went back to that plant, to that grass, into the ground again. The flower did not come up and went off to sleep and slept there. No flower did bloom, no bird did come there into the garden of the giant. There was only winter. The only people who were pleased, and who was pleased with this scenario, the people who were pleased were Snow and Frost. Snow and Frost, though they are natural phenomena, but here they are treated as human beings having the same attribute. So both of them were happy because the spring was not there. Spring has forgotten this garden. Spring was not there, that's why winter and the friends of winter were happy. They cried. So we will live here all the year round because now spring was not there, so summer will not there also. So we will live here all the year round. All through the year, only snow and frost and winter would be there. The snow covered up the grass. Now the whole garden was covered with white sheet of snow. With her great white cloak, garment. So the snow covered the whole garden with a long covering of snow. And the frost painted all the trees silver, and the trees were no more green now, they got silver colored. Then they invited the north wind, really very chilly wind it is, to stay with them. So now they also called north wind. And he came, north wind also came there. He was wrapped in fur. North wind was wrapped, covered in furs, and he rode. Why North wind was covered in furs? Because whenever in European countries North wind blows, people had to wear, or they are forced to wear, furry clothes. And he rode all day. North wind continued to roar all day about the garden, around the garden, or in the garden, and blew the chimney pots down, and it also cooled down. This is a delightful spot, he said. He, he stands for North Wind. North Wind said that it was a good place for the North Wind. We must ask Hail, and then he suggested that Hail or Hailstorm should be called on a visit, that Hailstorm also come there. So the Hail came. Every day for 3 hours he rattled. He stands here for Hailstorm. Hailstorm rattled because the hailstorms were there. Hails were falling onto the garden, onto the roof of the house, and it was rattling, making noise on the roof of the castle till he broke most of the slates there, most of the stones were broken by the hailstones. And then he ran, and then the hailstone ran round and round the garden as fast as he could go. He was dressed in grey. The hailstone was dressed in grey, and his breath was like ice because it was hailstorm. So this was the condition of the garden after he built a wall around that garden. So the nature did not respond, only the evil forces of nature, winter, frost, hailstorm, only they wanted to be there. I cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming. Now the selfish giant, he was thinking why the spring was so late, because in all the country the spring had come, and only The garden of that giant was without spring. As he sat at the window and looked out at his cold white garden, he thought of the spring. I hope there will be a change in the weather. He was hoping for the change in the weather because now the weather was really cold. But the spring never came. Spring did not come, nor the summer. And the summer was to come after spring, so spring did not come, nor the summer. The autumn gave golden fruit to every garden. Even autumn did not come. Autumn came to the whole country, but the garden of the giant. So autumn gave golden fruit to every garden of the country, but to the giant's garden, autumn, she stands here for autumn, gave none. Autumn did not give any fruit to the giant, garden of the giant. He is too selfish. Why? Because the giant was too selfish. Autumn said. That's why the giant was not provided with any fruit. So it was always winter there, and the north wind and the hail and the frost and the snow danced about through the trees. And as the spring, summer, and autumn didn't come, so who reigned there, who reside there? Only winter, north wind, hail, frost, only these were there in the garden. One morning, the giant was lying awake. One morning, he was awake, he was lying there, not sleeping, when he heard some lovely music. He heard some music, it sounded, and the music seemed, sounded to him so sweet to his ears that he thought it must be the king's musicians passing by. The music was so pleasing, the music was so good that the giant thought that king's musicians, royal musicians, were passing near the garden. It was really only little linnet. That music was of the little linnet. Linnet is a type of song bird singing outside his window. The linnet was there, it was singing outside the window, but it was so long since he had heard a bird singing in the garden that it seemed to him to be the most beautiful music in the world. So, why was the music of linnet so beautiful and so attractive to the giant? It was because he had not heard the music of any bird for the last few days. That's why the song of this little linnet seemed good to him, attracted him a lot. Then the hail stopped dancing over his head. When a natural object came, when a bird came and sang there, so Hailstorm left that place. He stopped dancing, and the north wind also stopped. North wind also stopped roaring, and a good perfume aroma came to him through the open casement window. Through the open window of that castle, he could see, or he could have good aroma, good fragrance there. I believe the spring has come at last. At last, the spring came there into that garden, said the giant, and he jumped out of bed and looked out, and he looked out to the garden. That was the part first. Now we will read part second of the chapter. He saw a most beautiful or wonderful sight. A most beautiful or wonderful sight it was. Through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in, and they were sitting in the branches of the trees. So, what was beautiful sight? The sight of children, and children crept in. Children came through a hole that they made in the wall, and they were in the branches. In every tree that he could see, there was a little child in every tree. And the trees were so glad. Trees were also very happy to have the children back again, that they had covered themselves with blossoms. So now the trees were happy and flowers were there on the trees and were waving their arms, and the trees were moving their arms gently, softly above the children's heads, because trees also love children a lot. So when the trees saw, they started blooming, and they also patted those children, waving their arms. The birds were flying about. Birds also came. They started to fly about the garden. They started to twitter, chirp. They started to sing with delight, with happiness. And the flowers were looking up. Flowers also bloomed. They were looking up through the green grass and laughing. Flowers from the grass also started laughing. It was a lovely scene. The whole garden changed altogether. Only in one corner, at a corner of the garden, it was still winter. At the corner of that garden, there was winter. It was the farthest corner. It was the remotest corner of the garden, very far from there. And in it was standing a little boy. And a little boy was standing there where it was still winter. He was so small, he was a small child, that he could not reach up. He wanted to reach up the tree. And because he did not reach up the tree, that tree did not bloom, did not show greenery. That's why that part have got still winter. So he could not reach that tree. He could not reach the branches of that tree, and he was wandering all round it, and he was wandering round the tree in order to find a branch, so that he could hold that branch or jump up to the branch and climb the tree, crying bitterly. He was crying very much, because he could not climb up the tree. The poor tree was still covered with frost and snow, because the child could not reach up the tree. That's why the tree was covered with frost and snow still, and the north wind was blowing there. The north wind was roaring about the tree. Climb up, little boy, said the tree. The tree said to the boy that he should climb up the tree, so that the tree also bloomed. And it bent its branches. The tree bent its branches down, so that the child could reach up to the tree as low as the tree could do. But the boy was too tiny. But the boy was so tiny, so small, that the boy could not reach that branch, and he could not climb that tree. And the giant's heart melted. Now the heart of the giant softened. Now he got emotional as he looked out. How selfish I have been. And now he realized that he was really selfish. That's why nature did not respond. Nature did not come to his garden, and he realized his mistake. Now he said, now I know why the spring would not come here. Now he knew the reason for the spring not there in his own garden. I will put that poor little boy on the top of the tree. He thought that he should put the boy on top of the tree, and then I will knock down, destroy the whole wall. He decided to destroy the wall. And my garden shall be the children's playground. He decided to make the garden the playground of the children forever and ever. He was really very sorry for what he had done. So now this was the transformation that happened to that giant. And so he crept downstairs and opened the front door quite softly. and went out into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. Now, the giant decided that he would help that boy climb the tree. So he went there, he opened the door softly so that the children should not get afraid. But the children saw him and they ran away. They got frightened of that giant. They ran away, and it was winter again in the whole garden. Only the little boy did not run. The little boy did not run. And what was the reason for his not running away? He was crying. So his eyes were filled with tears. That's why the little boy did not leave the ground. He did not see the giant. That he did not see the giant coming. And the giant stole up. The giant went there silently, stole up behind him and took him gently in his hands. He held that boy and put him up into the tree. And the tree broke at once into blossoms, and then the tree became happy and started blooming. And the birds came there and started singing, and the little boy stretched out his two arms and flung them round the giant's neck and kissed him. The boy was very happy. He stretched his arms and he threw his arms towards the giant. He held that giant and he kissed that giant. It was the gratitude, it was the love that he showed towards the giant. And the other children, when they saw this happening, now they were not afraid of the giant. When they saw that the giant was not wicked, bad, evil, that the giant was not evil any longer, it was not bad any longer, all the children came running back. And when they came back, then came the spring. Spring also came the whole garden. It is your garden now, little children, said the giant. Now the giant gave this garden to the little children, and he took a great axe. He took a huge axe and knocked down and destroyed, knocked down and broke the wall. And when the people were going to market at 12 o'clock, they found the giant playing with the children in the most beautiful garden they had ever seen. And now people, because there was no wall there, so people could see the garden and they saw that the giant was playing with the children and the garden was really beautiful. It was beautiful. The nature responded because the giant changed himself. All day long they played. Giant played with children. And in the evening they came to the giant to bid, to say him goodbye. So the children enjoyed that day. But where's your little companion? He said. But the giant did not see the little boy whom he climbed up the tree. The boy I put into the tree where that boy was. The giant loved that boy a lot, the best, because he had kissed him, because he showed love to the giant. That's why the giant loved that boy a lot. No answer. We don't know, answered the children. He has gone away. The children did not know about that child. We must tell him to be sure and come tomorrow. The giant said those children to take that boy, to take that child with them, said the giant. But the children said they did not know where he lived. The children did not know the whereabouts of that child. Even they had never seen. The children had never seen that child before. And the giant felt very sad. Now the giant was very sorry. He was sorrowful because he wanted to be with that child. Every afternoon when school was over, the children came and played with the giant. Now the giant every day started to play with those children, but the little boy whom the giant loved was never seen. The little boy was not seen there. The giant was very kind. Now the giant was kind to all the children, yet he longed for, he wished, he desired his little friend. Though he loved all the children, but he loved more to that little friend, to that little boy, and often spoke of him. And he spoke of that boy to other children. How I would like to see him, he used to say. He would say to those children that he like he would like to see that boy. Years went by. Now time passed, and the giant grew very old and feeble, weak. Now the giant was old and weak. He could not play about anymore, so he sat in a huge armchair and watched the children at the games and admired his garden. Now, as years went by, the giant was old and weak. He did not play with the children, but he saw the children playing there. I have many beautiful flowers, and he enjoyed his garden and talked to himself that it was really a beautiful garden and many beautiful flowers were there, but the children are the most beautiful flowers. He started loving children. Children are the most beautiful flowers among all the flowers. One winter morning, he looked out of his window. As he was dressing, the giant was dressing, and he looked out of his window. He did not hate the winter, as it was winter there, but he did not hate the winter now. Why? Because he knew that it was merely only the spring asleep. Winter means that the spring is sleeping only. Winter means that the flowers were resting only. That's why he is no more afraid. He does not hate even winter. Suddenly he rubbed his eyes. When he looked out, he rubbed his eyes because he did not believe what he could see there. In wonder, he was surprised, and he looked and looked. He continuously looked outside. He looked something there that he did not believe. It certainly was marvelous sight. It was really a beautiful sight that he was seeing. In the farthest corner of the garden was a tree quite covered with lovely white blossoms. He could see that the farthest corner of the garden there was a tree loaded with white blossoms, white flowers. Its branches were golden, and the branches of the tree were golden, and fruit, silver fruits were hanging down from them. And underneath that tree stood the little boy he had loved. And why he was not believing it? Because he could see that boy again after so many years. And he was standing under a tree, and the tree was full of flowers, full of fruits. This was really a good sight, an unbelievable sight for him. Downstairs ran the giant in great joy. He was very happy to see that boy. He wanted to meet him. He went down the stairs and went into that garden. He hastened across. He went there hastily, quickly across the grass, and came near to that child. He came near to that child, and when he came quite close to that child, his face grew red with anger. Now the giant got angry when he saw that child, and he said, "Who who has dared, who has got the courage to wound, to injure thee?" Because the giant could see marks of injury there onto the hands and feet of that child, and that's why the giant was very angry, because he loved that boy a lot, and he did not want the marks of injury there onto that boy. For on the palms of the child's hands were the prints of two nails. Two nails, the marks of two nails were there on the palms of the hands of the child, and the same nail prints were there on the little feet of that boy. And let me remind all the children that the boy was not a simple one. We could remember the crucifixion of Christ. Christ was crucified, and he was just nailed onto his hands and his feet, and the same marks of nails were there onto the palm and feet of that child. So that child was Christ itself as a child. Who hath dared to wound thee? Now again the giant asked the same question. Who dared to injure that boy? Cried the giant. Tell me that. Giant wanted to know the person who hurt that boy. I may take my big sword and slay him. And the giant said that the giant would kill that boy with his axe, with his sword, in fact, whoever has injured that boy. Nay, no, answered the child. The child said that he need not do that, but these are the wounds of love. He said, the child said that these or those were the injuries, the mark of injury of love. These were the signs of love that people showed towards them. Who are you? The now the giant was not going to believe what he was saying. Who are you? He asked him who the child was, said the giant, and a strange awe and a strange fear fell onto him, and he knelt before the little child and he sat onto his knees, because now he knew the real identity of that child. When the child said that those marks were the wounds of love, he recognized the boy, who the boy really was. So he knelt before the boy, and the child smiled on the giant. He gave a broad smile and said to him, You let me play once. That the giant allowed the boy to play in his garden that day. Today you shall come with me to my garden. And now the child said that he would take that giant to his own garden. And what is the garden of that boy? What is the garden of Christ? It is the garden of heaven, which is paradise, the garden of paradise. Now, the child said to the giant that as the giant changed himself completely, so the child was there, God Himself was there to take that giant away into the paradise. And when the children ran in that afternoon, and when rest of the children came in the afternoon there after schooling, they found the giant lying dead. The giant was lying there onto the ground. He was dead under the tree, all covered with white blossoms, and the white blossoms, white flowers on the tree, they fell onto the giant. So this was the blessing of the god that the god showered onto the giant, and this was possible only because of the good heart, the change of the heart of that giant. It was really a good chapter, and I'm sure you know the moral of that story. So let me remind you what the moral is. The moral of the story is that owning things is human, sharing them is divine. It means we own things. Human beings own things, that is their nature. But if we share those things to others or with others, so that is a divinity in us, and we should share our things with others so that we also should be divine. We get happiness through true love and selflessness. We should be happy by sharing things. We should be happy if we are unselfish. We should show happiness by being unselfish, and we get happiness only through true love and selfishness. The best feeling of happiness is when you are happy because you have made somebody else happy. And how could we get happiness? We get happiness by making others happy. And this is the best feeling of happiness. The best feeling of happiness is when someone is happy because of us. Selfish men cannot make themselves happy, and selfish persons cannot be happy until they did a good thing. And God helps those who are truly clear from their heart. If a person does not do good things, he is not happy. He will remain selfish. And God only helps those persons who are really clear from their heart, who are innocent, who are good from their heart. We should show kindness to be a better person in life. The message of the chapter of this story is kindness. We should show kindness. We should show love towards children. We should show love towards nature. We should share whatever we possess with others. Sharing is caring, that we know. It suggests that if we give happiness to others, we can also feel happiness in our life. If we give happiness to others, so this is the moral, to spread happiness, not to be selfish. We should act selflessly. And if we give happiness to others, we will feel happiness and our life will be filled with happiness. So it was really a very thought provoking and good story, and a quite interesting one as well. If you have got any problem or any doubt relating to this poem, you can write in the comment section, or you can contact me via any media. So thank you for watching the video patiently. I hope you have understood the topic well. So like and share the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you with a new video on a new topic. Till then, bye.